deal with that you would prioritize? And that's a question for all of you at the U15 level, U13 level. Tom?
Well, like I started going to Europe and paying attention to Europe because our practices were terrible here, I thought.
Mhm.
And so, anyways, going to all the people that George brought in, when I became friends with Johanny, he started bringing me there. And then, excuse me, I found out how Finland and Sweden organize everything. And they organize everything with, they say there's three situations. You're either on offense or defense or the puck is loose. And a certain percentage of every game is that. So you have to practice those situations. And then offense, you've got two roles, the player with the puck and the player supporting the puck. And on defense, two roles, player checking the puck carrier, the players covering away from the puck. And that's kind of the template for organizing everything during the season. You have to cover all of those things, so you've got offensive team play, defensive team play, individual offensive skills, individual defensive skills, and they have to be put in those situations of offense, defense, and loose puck, because about 30% of the game the puck is loose. And you only get that by playing. You don't get that in drills because very much, right? Because drills, you either have the puck or you don't have the puck. So then you need to use games and transition games that have these situations occurring. So that's my philosophy of planning and everything, and it's based on Finland and Sweden.
Hal, can you comment on that? As what you found?
Well, I also found myself in Europe traveling around at the IAHF conferences, which was where I met Tom originally. And of course, I also was friends with Herb Brooks, who, really, with the Russian influence on hockey. And so, I think Tom's 100% right in dealing with it at that level, with those priorities. And again, it's getting the kids to understand that if you don't have the puck, you need to be someplace, not just hanging around and waiting for it. And it's a that practice format that I run. I did that video on with the is really designed for a lot of that, to influence game-like situations, and rather than X's and O's, you need to go here. It's like here's what it needs to look like. How can you get into that role? Wally, I wanted to ask you a question though. I did the mission statement last year with our parents, and I was surprised at sort of what their five main priorities were, but almost universally it was win more games. That was the priority. We want to win more games. And this is with a team of kids that hardly ever won games. In fact, we only won 16 games last year, and for the second year players, that was more games than they had won in the prior 5 years combined. So I guess we achieved the goal, but it was 16 out of 50. And
Well,
they could have won two or three more, but those kids were happy. They
yeah. See, the bottom
but
line.
I was a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When you had them write five things they wanted to accomplish, did all of them write outcomes, results, winning, or a small percentage? Because the exercise once they provide their list of what they want to get out of the year, what they want to accomplish, and you have to phrase that question so that it's open ended. So some of them want their kids to have a positive experience. You know, they understand, they want them to improve, to get better in skills, to develop hockey sense. So when you collate those in the two sides of outcomes and specific goals, that you think of how do you accomplish improvement? Well, it's through the hard work and effort, cooperation, and teamwork.
Yep.
So the exercise is intended to just understand the years of process, and winning 16 games is a pretty major accomplishment. And you stuck to the process, and the kids were happy. And I think
Oh, the
that's,
kids were happy.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
think,
I just I think that it was a little different because I've done this in the and scholarship but then majority of the parents were much more aligned on getting better, having a great experience, teamwork, sportsmanship, and all that, and winning more games was not typically the the consensus number one. In this group it was. Now, we'll do it again this year, and I'll see because the team's going to be a little more skilled, and the kids will have tasted some success last year, either as peewees or with us as bantams. But I think this is a really valuable exercise to do to help parents understand, well, and the coaches to understand what the expectations are collectively, so you don't have problems during the season. So
well, I think the big thing, the biggest challenge is the process and how are you going to, what do you have to do to accomplish those outcomes?
right,